everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and this is going to be a special video for you guys. We don't really cover the news too much here on the channel, but I thought this was important enough that we at least have to talk about it. And that's that last night, Melissa Barrera was fired from Scream 7. Paramount Spyglass Entertainment came to an agreement. Spyglass even released a statement that they have released her from her contract, that she is not going to be a part of the next film because they do not support anyone talking about anti-Semitism. Now, in my opinion on the matter, and I can't say that I'm an expert on anything that's going on with this war right now. You know, I get drips and drabs here and there. I always check up on it, but I'm not somebody who's really fully invested in everything. It would just be my opinion. Not everything I would be saying is based on facts, so I wouldn't come to me for that kind of source. I'm a movie guy. I'm a physical media guy. That's what I'm an expert in. I am not an expert in the news and everything that's going on in the world of politics. I don't want to be an expert on it, mainly because I think it brings out the worst in people. I have always felt personally that religion and politics bring out the worst in people because they have their opinions on it, and you're really never going to change somebody's opinion on that matter. No matter how hard you try, it just creates anger. And I always wanted this channel to be a safe space for people not to have to worry about that kind of stuff and not even think about politics and religion for a little bit. Think about movies. Of course, though, in situations like this, we kind of crossed over in the movies and film, and the Scream franchise is one of the most famous franchises in horror history. At this point, I felt like they're the most consistent horror franchise where there's not a bad one in the bunch. I even think the worst film in this franchise is still a very solid film. The last two films have been really good, gotten new Scream fans out of it. We've seen the rise of Jenna Ortega. They've been very fortunate to have her in the franchise, and Melissa Barrera has been the star. She's your lead. This is your modern day Neve Campbell, and they just fired her for these comments. Now, in my opinion, reading the comments, looking into the comments, I didn't see anything that was too egregious that she deserved to be fired for. She might have been floating that line to where somebody, and I feel like this is what happened, somebody at Spyglass interpreted these comments as anti-Semitism, but it really felt like, to me, she was asking for a ceasefire and just saying that the Western media wasn't reporting everything that was going on, which is very believable. Has anyone ever watched the news? They only tell you one side of the story anyway, depending on what channel you even watch. It could be one channel could report the same story as another channel, and they could tell a very different story. The power of editing, the power of creation, it's all out there. It's very obvious that they could do things like that. Now, you could argue that she might have floated a line that was a little bit too dangerous, getting too close to the fire. Did I think she deserved to get fired? Personally, no, I don't. After Warner Brothers bent over backwards to make Ezra Miller work for The Flash, mainly just for money. That was it. That was the only reason they did that. They wanted the Flash movie to be a success. They spent all that money on it. He's the star. Despite him just going on a crime spree through the entire country, that didn't matter. You know what? We gotta make the Flash work. And they wouldn't fire him or even really bash him too much. They're like, oh, he needs help. Now, Spyglass and Paramount, they fired Melissa Barrera for comments on social media. Now, other people have been fired for that in the past. I'm a big NASCAR fan. A NASCAR driver named Noah Gragson, he liked the post. He never even wrote anything. He just liked the post that was anti-Semitic. One thing, I didn't agree with him making that decision. It felt like a really dumb decision to make, but he didn't write anything. He just kind of liked something that I would perceive as racist, and it would change my opinion on the matter, but I didn't think the guy deserved to get fired for what he did. Unfortunately, we're kind of getting to the point where letting people go for mistakes that they make, and it's unfortunate. It's just a slippery slope we're walking down, and I felt like this is the one where I was like, okay, you went a little bit too far. It seems like maybe one or two executives overstepped a little bit, and unfortunately, they are going to receive so much blowback. I'm already seeing it now from Scream franchise fans, just from regular people who feel like, you know what, you're kind of out of line on this one. The director himself has come out and released a statement. This wasn't his decision. Stop yelling at him. He's really upset about it, and then he deleted that post. I imagine his boss has said, hey, you can't comment on this, especially like that. It seems like you're in her favor, and we want you to be only on our side. Now, how does this leave the Scream franchise after all this? Because that's what we're really here to talk about. I'm not going to go too far into the politics of it all, because again, I'm not an expert on it. Don't come to me for political advice. I am not the guy for it. I have my views, but I really don't think it's fair to you guys for me to completely share all of my views with you guys. If it comes up in the world of film, that's a different story. So what does this mean for the Scream franchise going forward? Well, I felt like, and this is a spoiler for Scream 6, where they wanted all the characters to survive that movie. Our core 4 characters, they bent over backwards. I mean, 2 of these characters should be dead. There's no reason for them to even have survived the end of Scream 6. But because they bent over backwards to make that work, to set up Scream 7, epic conclusion that they are building up to, and Melissa Barrera, her character, the daughter of Bobby Loomis, she is our lead of these films. And now you're not going to even have her in Scream 7. How they're going to do it, I don't know. I imagine they would either kill her off camera. They had a comment from Courtney Cox about Neve Campbell in the last film. How's Sydney doing? Oh, she's doing okay. That's it. The only reference to her, even though she's the lead of the series. But she also kind of faded to the background. Melissa Barrera is front and center. Her and Jenna Ortega and the other two leads, they are our core four characters. They bent over backwards to make sure that the four of them survived for this epic conclusion in Scream 7. And now without one of those leads, the lead, I don't think it can work. If I was Spyglass and Paramount, I would scrap the whole project. Me personally, just because I'm really upset about what they did, I would sell the rights to it. They're never going to do that. Again, money. So, of course, they're not going to do that. I would just say, you know what? Start over from scratch. Reboot the franchise. You know, again, I don't want them to name it Scream for the third time, but you just cannot continue this trilogy. Whatever you do will be the wrong decision. People are going to feel like they're being cheated out of what you set up. We just saw this last year with Halloween. Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. If the film doesn't feel like the film that you're setting up, people are going to be let down and disappointed, and people will be let down and disappointed without Melissa Barrera in the lead. Even if you kill her off camera or you do some AI trickery, it's never going to be as satisfying as what you set up, because you could have just killed her in Scream 6, but you bent over backwards to make sure these four characters were in Scream 7, and in my opinion, this is just very disappointing. So I'd say, hey, you know what? Let's get rid of it. Start over from scratch. That's it. You know, this is what we want to do. We've made our bed. We got to sleep in it now. But anyway, guys, I don't like to talk too much about this. You know, this is kind of a touchy subject. I want to hear your opinions, though, in the comment section below. Just try and keep it a little bit friendly. I understand this is a touchy subject, but just try and think clearly about the matter and not argue with each other. And we'll just talk a little bit about what our feelings are. So anyway, you guys can like this video, subscribe to the channel. We have channel memberships. You can check those out as well. I want to thank my three producers, Jason Martin, Frank Rodriguez, and John Doe Juggalo. My channel director, Kevin Kruger. Thank you guys all so much. And for the friends of the channel, thank you guys all so much. And for everybody else, I just want you to get out in the streets and enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.